Call to order the regular meeting of the Rio Dell City Council. Happy New Year, everybody, everyone who's listening. Roll call, please.
Mayor Garnes.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson.
Just on mute.
Gordon, you got to unmute yourself.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
Thank you.
Councilmember Wilson.
Here.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
And Councilmember Woodall. And let's just double check here and see if
She's there. I mean, she's
there.
online. There she is. Just unmuting.
All right. We have a full council, Mayor Garnes.
Thank you. Okay, then we will rise and call for the Pledge of Allegiance. I will rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Public presentations. This is the time for persons who wish to address the council on any matter not on this agenda and over which the council has jurisdiction. As such, a dialogue with the council or staff is not intended. Items requiring council actions not listed on this agenda may be placed on the next regular agenda for consideration if the council directs, unless a finding is made by at least 2/3 of the council that the item came up after the agenda was posted and is of an urgency nature requiring immediate action. Please limit comments to maximum of 3 minutes. Are there any hands raised or emailed in?
There are no emails.
Thank you.
And no hands raised.
Okay, then I'll wait a beat just in case someone's trying to hit their mute button like the rest of us and takes a minute. Okay, still no hands raised?
Still no hands raised.
Okay, then, thank you. We will move on to the consent calendar. Is there any council member who wishes to remove an item from the consent calendar? Is there any member of the public that has asked for an item to be removed? Hearing none, I'm asking city manager and Rosa, anything?
I don't see any hands raised.
Okay, thank you. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve items 1 through 5 of the consent calendar?
So moved by Johnson.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second by Woodall.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please. Well, I can do it, Kyle. Councilmember Wilson?
Yes.
Councilmember Woodall?
Yes.
Councilmember Johnson?
Yes.
Councilmember Carter?
Yes.
And the mayor votes yes. It is carried 5-0. City manager, staff updates.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes, members of the council. So we do have some exciting news, which is the city has been invited by the California Office of Emergency Services and FEMA to further apply for hazard mitigation grant program funds for 2 projects. The first being a water tank storage enhancement project up at the Douglas Tank site, the city's main water storage facility. In addition, we have been approved to continue on seismic resiliency grant applications for the connection between the city's main water grid and the Metropolitan Well site, which the council may recall is the city's backup water supply source that currently runs through some Caltrans bridges And so those applications, they're essentially pre-applications, but it's a good sign that we have projects that they like, and that we can proceed to start to put together a more formal application. The city's also looking at options for not necessarily the highest priority in the city, but an important one, which is our garbage and recycling receptacles in town. At the next meeting, we'll be proposing to form a council ad hoc to review options for the receptacles, and have the ad hoc make a recommendation for the design of that. I did talk with the community development director earlier about whether that was appropriately handled in the design review portion of the planning commission, and so we agreed that it was probably best handled by the council. Other than that, staff's been working on the Davis Street sidewalk improvements, which are starting to finish up, and as well as we have asked for some additional assistance from the county, from their missed homeless services team, for some of the encampments on the river bar. With that, so I'll return it back to the council to see if there's any questions.
Thank you, City Manager, and yay on the applications. Good job, everybody. Thank you very much for doing all of that, getting those things together. Are there any questions from council? Council Member Woodall.
Of course. I'm sorry, Kyle. I should have come in earlier. I have some questions on this. My first is about, I saw they were tearing up the sidewalk that we just put in by Al Petrovich's house. Can you tell me what's going on there?
Yeah, so when the contractor was out doing work at that site, they cracked the sidewalk, so it's being fixed.
Okay. And next question is, I noticed on the police report there's quite a few calls for the Danco project, and I was wondering, and that might be because it's a whole month's worth, but did you and Deborah ever have a meeting, the meetings that they were going to have weekly? Did you guys ever participate in any of those?
So yeah, we had several meetings a while ago with Danco, and so it was decided that the meetings would be basically on an as needed basis. So the initial problems that the site was encountering seemed to have been dealt with at that point in time. So the meetings are basically on call, and we're trying to reschedule them also to make sure that the chief of police can attend, since his schedule is a little bit different from the normal 9 to 5.
Okay, I just asked because, like I said, the calls seem to have been increasing.
And Julie, I would also like to say as well that it wasn't really so much an ad hoc committee as much as it was just a request that in a moment in time for us to have these meetings. But any council member who wants to reach out to management at Danco can absolutely feel free. If you have questions, they are open, and you can feel free to ask management the questions. And we've had that conversation too, and it's perfectly fine for you to do that.
Well, no, I just thought that you were going to be attending them, and I was just wondering. I didn't think it was an ad hoc committee. I just thought that that you and Kyle at the time were going to do it. That's no problem. But I just hadn't heard anything. And unless I missed it, I have been on vacation for a while, so I might have missed any update that you might have given. Right. And that's what I was asked. And so it's not. I don't want to go down. I just thought I might ask. Let's see. Oh, and Kyle, I see above that you had the requested assistance from MIST, but this last weekend there were people down cleaning up the river bar. Who was that? Was that the MIST?
Actually, our police department and public works was down last week on Monday cleaning up some garbage off of Edward Street.
Oh, nothing down at the other end. I thought they had been down at the other end near the Aloha Lodge. But okay, so that's my misunderstanding. And I think that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. Kyle, the next steps for the 2 water grants, what's the timeline on those?
So I believe that they're due towards the end of March. And so we'll be working with the city engineer on making those applications.
Great, thank you.
Councilmember Carter?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson?
Yes, I had a couple questions. One was it said on the Public Works that there was something done down at North Pacific. If I read that,
Yeah, it's on there.
but I read it a second ago. I lost it again. Down here under Public Works and Streets, picked up trash, and then the river access was worked on.
I might be able to address that. Officer Landry and 1 or 2 members of Public Works cleaned up trash at one of the homeless camps real close to where the access trail from North Pacific hits the river bar.
Do we still have the access trail at the end of Davis that goes by the RV park? Is that still active?
Yes.
City manager? You know that answer?
I believe so. Yes, we do.
And then the other question was on the COVID testing, and we saw that a press release about we're higher than 84% of the nation, and what does that mean to Rio Dell with the COVID testing?
So the testing detected a spike in the level of the genome of COVID detected in the wastewater. So the untreated wastewater. That information is collected by wastewater staff and then forwarded on for testing. And it detected a pretty significant spike in those figures.
Does that have any effect? I mean, how does that affect us as a city, or safety wise, or just how does it affect us in general?
Well, I think, we've released the information to the general public. Again, this is third-party information, so that they're aware of that information that the city has received. We've also been working with public health and forwarding all of that information onto the public health department.
I mean, I understand that that's reported. Is there something that the people in Rio Dell need to be concerned about, where there's a spike in it, or is it just? I mean, we're not down there putting our hands in the sewer. I mean, that's obvious.
Yeah, it's a question for the public health department. So it's information that we have provided to them. I don't think they've given us any special status, higher or lower than any other community. But what the public health officer did inform me is that it further confirmed the data that he was looking at.
All right, thank you.
And just for informational sake, from Thursday until today, we've had 7 additional cases in Rio Dell. Mm-hmm. So, Are there any questions from any emails or any hands raised for questions about the staff reports, questions for the staff report or city manager's report?
Currently, there are no hands raised.
Deborah, can I ask one more question?
Absolutely.
Chief, did we get our new officer? Has he started yet?
Officer Russell Conan, he goes by his middle name Conan Johnson, is starting tonight.
Oh, great. And will he just be doing ride-alongs for a while, or?
He will be with Sergeant Bouchain for approximately 4 weeks, with me, unfortunately, for a couple of weeks, and then he will finish up with Sergeant Bouchain again.
Okay, thank you.
We have a 10-week field training program that can be extended if necessary.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. So we're now at are we a full complement?
That's correct. We have 6 full-time officers, including myself, and Charlie works 1 day a week.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. And still no hands before I move on?
Actually, we do now have a hand raised. It appears that Ms. Treadwell would like to speak.
I'm calling on you, Cindy Treadwell.
Hi, I just had a question on the COVID testing with the wastewater. Is that at a cost to the city, or is that paid for through federal funding? I was just, others have asked and wondered that, and what the benefit would be knowing that. And I guess the county health department is just going to let us know on that. But my concern was if it was at a cost. I had read that Eureka, the city of Eureka was interested in doing that, but the cost was too high for them. But anyway, that's all.
So just to answer that quickly, Mayor Garnes, it's a great question. The answer is that the wastewater ratepayers are not paying for it. It comes through, the test is paid for through Federal CARES Act dollars.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more hands raised?
There appears to be no hands raised at the moment.
Thank you. Then we will move on to our next item, which is appointments to boards, committees, and commissions. City manager, would you have the ability to put up the assignment?
Yes, just give me a second. I was originally trying to obtain the file for this, but I don't have it. But what I do have is a scanned copy of the document that we can use as I figure out how we can screen share the material.
Thank you.
All right, it should pop up now.
There it is. Bang. So I had hoped to have a screenshot of everything filled in, but I will go down through there and then we'll see if everyone's good with the assignments. So for HCOG, we have Mayor Pro Tem Johnson as the appointee and Councilmember Woodall as the alternate. For the Humboldt County Convention Center, we have Garnes, myself, as the appointee, and Amanda Carter as the alternate. Councilmember Carter, I'm sorry, Amanda.
Oh, no, that's fine.
For HWMA, we have Councilmember Wilson and Mayor Pro Tem Johnson as the alternate. And basically, let me just say, basically, I filled in the vacancies and for the most part left everyone where they were unless they had indicated they wanted to be in a different place. So where are we? Humboldt Transit Authority, Councilmember Woodall. And, well, I don't have I did not put an alternate in there. I'll come back to that in a minute while I'm thinking. League of California Cities, myself, Garnes, and Councilmember Carter as the alternate. For REDAC, Councilmember Carter as the appointee, Councilmember Woodall as the alternate. For LAFCO, which we, under the consent calendar, we put in a letter to support Mayor Pro Tem Johnson as the person for the LAFCO vacancy. So we're crossing our fingers and hoping that that works out. For Redwood Coast Energy Authority, Councilmember Wilson and myself, Deborah Garnes, as the alternate. And the Humboldt Hazardous Response Authority, Councilmember Carter and myself as the alternate, Mayor Garnes. On those external organizational chart, is everyone good with, let's see, what time is that? Councilmember Johnson, would you be open to being the alternate on the HTA?
Sure, not a problem.
Awesome. Okay, so is everyone, I hope everyone was able, I hope I went, at the right pace. Did anyone hear anything they were opposed to?
Nope.
Not me.
No,
Sounds good.
it's all good to me.
Awesome.
Looks great.
Thank you. So on the internal committees.
May I ask a question, Mayor Garnes?
Oh, absolutely.
Now, are you on the committee to appoint the LAFCO?
No, I am not.
I thought the mayor's.
Oh, is that the mayor's commission?
Yeah, that's mayor's selection.
Then yes, I would be. There's not been a vacancy since I've been as mayor in the last couple of years, so I didn't recognize that to be. But then yes, I would be on that committee because I have been to some meetings, but it was I think the biggest thing that we did was the Coastal Commission.
Okay.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, and for the internal committees, the traffic committee, I left as Wilson Johnson. I think it's more of an ad hoc, so both people probably show up. For the nuisance committee, I left it as Woodall and Carter. For the sculpture committee, I left Councilmember Wilson and I put myself on as the alternate. For the Rio Dell Fire District, Councilmember Woodall and as the appointee, myself as the alternate. For this Rio Dell Scotia Chamber of Commerce, I had Councilmember Carter as the appointee and Councilmember Woodall as the alternate. But if you don't want to be the alternate, Councilmember Woodall or Councilmember Carter.
No,
alternate's
fine. Thank you.
I'm good.
Okay, and then the Labor Ad Hoc Committee, there was just me. And so I thought I would ask, is there anyone who would want to be on as the alternate? Because I think the ad hoc committee is both people show up. So it's more of both people are appointees versus an alternate situation. Is there anyone who wants to be on the Labor Ad Hoc Committee with me? It's very stressful and I don't think it's fun, but well, okay, well, we'll come back to that one. And then
Mayor Garnes.
Yes.
I'd like to be on that Labor Ad Hoc.
Okay. Beautiful. And then the Economic Development Ad Hoc Committee is Garnes and Johnson. And that rounds out the
No,
committee. Is
No.
there another one?
you and I haven't.
Oh,
oh,
we do. It's
we
just
have-
not on this list, Julie. It didn't
Well, we
make the
can't
list.
forget it.
I know, right?
Right.
Okay, the Gateway Ad Hoc Committee. Do you want to continue, Julie?
Yeah, because there's just a few things we could talk about now. You know, yeah.
Okay, then that would be Garnes and Woodall.
Yeah.
Mayor Garnes,
Yes?
I got an email, I don't think it was today, but regarding the wastewater study.
Oh, I saw that too, but about an ad hoc committee.
Yeah, is that it? Did we do that sometime back? And
I don't believe so. I think that could be, well, I couldn't remember it. So I've assumed that at some point city manager was gonna, let us know.
oh, is that
Well, is that the rate study meeting?
was that
So
for
that-
just two of us? I only saw my name and I think, but whatever. I just
I thought Frank and Gordon. I thought.
That's correct. Yes.
Gordon was there.
Yeah.
I was there, but I didn't see the whole council.
And I didn't see either name.
Maybe
If I can-
Kyle could maybe clarify that.
If I can chime in real quick. Yeah, that was errantly left off the list. So there is an RFP rate study ad hoc committee. So we are getting close to being able to have those meetings hopefully in January. And so that would be council members Johnson and Wilson.
What does RFP stand for again?
Request for proposal. So
There you go.
whether what the scope would be regarding a consultant, or if a consultant was necessary, that sort of thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Deborah,
and- yes.
one more question, and I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask, but I'll ask, and you can. We're going to have a member of the public open their position open in the nuisance abatement, and I was wondering when we would put out, for people to apply for the nuisance abatement committee, because now that Amanda's on,
Right.
we're -1, and plus I would like to check and see if the other public members still want to be public members.
Okay.
Correct. So
So,
that'll be
I didn't-
coming up on the next, that'll be coming up through the mayor. That'll be coming up on the next council agenda.
Okay, thank you.
One more question, Mayor Garnes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Do we on the what do you call it? Planning Commission. Didn't we lose member Mark?
We did. And we were waiting for applications. I'm not sure where that application process is. And the city clerk isn't here, but yes, we did lose someone. There was a spot open is my recollection.
Okay, I guess so.
City manager, do you have any information, or should we wait until we have the city clerk back?
So those will also be your next regularly scheduled council meeting. So that'll be January 19th.
Terrific. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Great. Okay, well, then, are there any council communications? Mayor Pro Tem Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Garnes. The last chance grade stakeholders held a Zoom meeting, and from my viewpoint, we didn't move the ball forward an inch. So nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Any RCEA stuff?
RCEA, we are in a I guess it's publicly noted that we're in property negotiations. That's, other than that, they list the parcels that are up for review. And that's, so if you want to, that's public. If you want to go look that up and look at the parcels, you're certainly able to do that through checking on and finding their agenda page. And then HWMA, we're continuing forward with the selection of a new executive director. And the CRV thing is still just every chance I can stick up for the citizens. And also now the small businesses are, I don't know that they've moved that forward on actually finding them, but it could be pretty significant to the local stores if they're deemed that they have to pay this $100 a day. It's about $36,000 a year to a small business. And then, like a couple that we have in town here that have beverage containers, that they would try to saddle with that. And in light of the fact that the Cal Recycle has about a $500 million, that's a billion with a B, funds that they've acquired. They did 100 million in the last, since the COVID has taken place, that they've increased their money by because they're not paying out to anybody. So at least not in our area. It works well in the metropolitan areas, and Crescent City guy seems pretty busy because it's I think a mom and pop with minimum wage people. But if we could, I think possibly the HWMA may eventually have a letter that they may ask us to sign as a council to reach out to our legislators and see if they can do something to help, because Cal Recycle doesn't seem to want to do anything. They just say, go talk to your legislators. So it's a sad story. And that's my update.
Okay, Councilmember Woodall.
Yes. About a week ago, I went on a ride along with Officer Landry, and once again, it was an eye opener. One of the things we stopped because a person was unlicensed, and before we finished with it, we had another officer come, which was needed, and we also had somebody come from Fortuna, and I could not believe how fast things escalate, and it just really pointed out what our officers have to face. I mean, we started with one person, two people came out of a house, another man came walking down the street, two more people drove up, and it was just in minutes, it seems like it happened. So I was really impressed, and thank you, Chief, for having a great force. And the other thing is, out driving around today, and 3 cars that needed to be towed, and that's been needed to be towed for a long time. I drove by this afternoon. They were gone. All of them were gone. And I've seen other things around town that are being cleaned up, and I really appreciate it. And thank you, Jolene. And I think that's about all I had. Oh, on Davis, the sidewalk looks so nice when you're driving in. It really makes a difference. And I saw that they also got the sidewalk patched today up on Wildwood. So thank you everybody, for you doing a great job.
Thank you. Councilmember Carter.
No reports this week, but next time I'll have committee meetings that I get the pleasure to attending. So I'll have some reports, but this week, not so much.
All right. Well, the first thing I have is, I'll be sending you information, Councilmember Carter, for meetings, that will be league meetings that are coming up, so that you can at least, look in and see what's going on. And they're very informative. You get a lot. And then I don't know if you've gotten the information. You're on the one committee, policy committee.
Yes.
You'll going to that next week. I think it's next week.
The 15th. Yeah.
15th. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's coming up I have 2 policy meetings, one on Thursday and then one on Friday. And then I also wanted to thank the volunteer corps that went out on Christmas Eve, not Christmas Eve, Wednesday, the 23rd, and delivered meals, entire meals to some seniors in town. And they were really well received. Nick Angeloff and Elizabeth Warren put it together. They got it together. They managed to get all the stuff and get it all compiled and get it to City Hall. And then the volunteer corps, including Councilmember Carter, came and we passed out the food, and it was really greatly appreciated. You could tell that people were very grateful. And
Yes.
so I just wanted to thank the volunteer corps. I wanted to thank Nick Angeloff and Elizabeth Warren for coming up with the idea, for putting it together. And, just, it was really a good deal. And so I think that is pretty much all I have that I can think of in the moment anyway. So I appreciate everyone's being here. I want to thank the city staff. I probably didn't do that at the end of last year, and really tell you how grateful that I am and that the council is for everything you guys did last year and all that you're going to probably do this year. So thank you, each and every one of you. It is greatly appreciated. And I think with that, we will ask if there's a motion to adjourn.
So moved by Johnson.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
We have a second. Councilmember Wilson, meeting adjourned until Tuesday, January 19th. Night, everybody.
Right.
Good night.